just realized you are way too big on my screen. Looks very, very funny. I can make you a little smaller. Sorry. Should be alright now. We can actually see Rakan now, so that's lovely. Cerberus might be shit again. I don't know. Hopefully not, but that was a rough series to watch. That was such a huge stomp. So I'm just hoping. Wait. Should not be true. Oh, wait a my god, I hate this. I am very sorry.
Here I thought it was.
OBS
and
is
here I was
inting
told
me
German
the whole day.
efficiency.
Yeah, OBS inted me because it decided to take another output thingy. So,
sound check and everything. Whatever.
Not really.
Character, you gonna redo the intro now?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
It's been done.
that means no one heard you roasting me. Yes,
it's true. Actually, I will do. I will. That's a
worry.
good point. I will
There's plenty
redo
of
the
time.
intro. That's true. No. He makes a good point. I will redo the intro. We'll start again.
Yeah.
Good morning, Vietnam, and welcome to the VCS English podcast, your best source for bullshit and all of the other lovely things that VCS English can bring you about our wonderful league. I am here with the wonderful Your Way, the beautiful Marbanogi, and Milky, I guess. How has everyone been? How have your weeks been? We're not going to go to Your Way because you were the only one that wasn't muted. Marby, how have you been?
Like,
Milky, how have you been?
One week, now it's another.
It is. It's true. Milky?
I'm subbing in. I'm subbing in for Rebel, so I'm going to try to have a bit of a better sub-in appearance than Fuck One did, or Fuck One. So that was not intentional, and we're off to a good start.
Sure.
And it genuinely wasn't.
I mean, when I first saw that name appear
I thought that's
a
how it
couple
was.
years ago, I was like, all right, someone clear this up for me. I don't want to go around saying fuck on broadcast.
Yeah, I kind of thought that might have been how it's pronounced. Thankfully, it is Fook, so we're not breaking any rules every time we talk about him. But he might be breaking some rules with how he was playing. Though we are being a bit harsh to him. But we'll get to that later on. Your Way, what were your initial reactions to week one? You already mentioned about Cerberus might be bad again. Do you have anything else to add?
Flash, as expected, only by me, but as expected for me at least, looks way better. So I'm happy about that.
Marby, what were your reactions to week one?
Can we just crown Garm and take the rest of the split up?
Honestly.
That's how it looked.
No, I don't want that. We want the VCS. We want our games. And Milky, what was your an overall reaction to week one?
You know what I'm gonna say here, Carrix, and I don't think you want me to say it.
I don't know what you're going to say. If you're going to say Team Secret were
no.
actually good, you just...
Oh no.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be wrong.
So, I think Team Secret played well. It was against SBTC, so need to wait and see what happens when they play against an actual team that's, competing.
Exactly.
And they're playing against GARM, so they're going to get more than a challenge on Friday, which is tomorrow.
Gonna get
So that should be pretty
absolutely
good to see.
wrecked.
And I think Team Flash as well. They've shown some really good gameplay actually in week 1. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the two teams in the VCS can do.
Yeah, look, I we'll go into it more in depth, but as an initial reaction, I think there are 3 broad tiers within the VCS. There's GARM, there's everyone else, and then there's SBTC. That's my initial reaction after 1 week. So
Plus
who knows?
1.
It might shake out a little bit different as things go on. But let's go into things we want to talk about in a lot more depth, because of course we do have 3 of the greatest minds around the VCS here. And one of the things that we aren't covering as VCS English, we just weren't really set up for it, as much as we would have liked to cover it, is the SEA games. So I just want to clarify a couple of things, because I know there's been a lot of talk, a lot of social media and stuff, and maybe there's some misunderstandings. SEA Games is basically an event that is all of the Southeast Asian countries. I think there's like sport and stuff as well, but obviously that's not what we care about. They've added league to it. There's apparently quite a bit of national pride tied up. I'm not Vietnamese. None of us are Vietnamese, so I don't think any of us really care. But Vietnamese people do, and it's a Vietnamese league, so that's what matters. And basically, the winner of these qualifiers can't go to MSI because the events are within like a week of each other. So, and they have to go to SEA Games. So there's problems there, because if VCS has a clear best team, which we kind of think they do, GARM could win both, and then we're sending second place to MSI, which is real bad. But how are the rest of you looking at the SEA games? We'll start with you, your way.
Well, the timing is unfortunate. I don't really mind them happening. My biggest question right now, looking at all the results and like glimpsing at some of the gameplay, is just what exactly is happening right now. I see what happened before because that made sense. Like just seeing if any of the VCSB teams actually are better than the VCSA teams. Turns out no. So now we're down to just VCSA teams, and I don't really understand why we're playing a full best round 1 when we could just take the results of VCS instead. So everyone is just playing each other again over the course of the week. There's no time for scrims because you play from Monday to Sunday. No pause whatsoever, no break in the schedule, and in 2 weeks we are actually going to have 3 matches every day. So that's more what's confusing me. What exactly is the purpose of this round robin right now? I think you could have just cut this round and moved straight to playoffs instead. And then
I mean,
the results are super weird as well, because Sky 2-0'd Luxury this week on Tuesday after getting 2-0'd by Luxury in VCS last week. We have Cerberus, we have SPTC of all teams, beating GAM 2-0. Huh? We have GAM again playing against Cerberus and beating them 2-0 again. So Cerberus is now 0-4 against GAM. It's
Cerberus
really
is
strange.
Academy team, but
Yeah, true. You're right.
who
Right.
beat Flat 2-1. Yeah, my take on that is some teams are going. I think are sort of going. We're going to take SEA games a bit more seriously than VCS because they don't think they can take that top spot in VCS, but they might see GARM sort of goofing it around, treating the SEA games at scrims and go, well, if we can take the SEA games spot, we get to represent our country in one place, even though we don't get to go to MSI, which is the big one. Maybe. I don't know
So-
what they actually prioritize within the teams, but
my only objection to that theory, because like that makes sense. Don't get me wrong, it makes sense, but at the same time, if you're practicing, you're practicing. It's not like they're playing different games. Like if your team is improving, you're gonna get better in both.
sure, but
So it doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me. Sorry, go ahead, Milky. Go ahead.
Yeah, just quick question. Are the SEA games on the same patch that the VCS games are being played on?
Here we
Are they
go.
both on Tournament Realm?
Here we go. The weird thing is, look
Are
at
they
the
not?
SEA games patch cycle. They played on 12.3, at least according to this page here. They played on 12.3 for the round 1, and now they're playing on 12.2 in round 2.
I'm sorry.
So I think they kind of did live service for round 1 because that wasn't streamed. That was just kind of teams smacking into each other. And now I think they're on to tournament round. That's not been updated.
But there could be a
I'm just
really
gonna
weird
say-
situation, Milky, indeed, where we move to 12.3 this week or next week in VCS, but the teams are still playing on 12.2 over in the C game.
If
See,
any
I quite
region
like
would do
this
it, it'd be
because
Vietnam.
in Winter Split, VCS was like it was the first time I was fully on the broadcast, so I got introduced to all of the memes and the shit talking that we were doing. But now it seems that because the SEA games are here, all of the memes are going over to SEA games in terms of what patch we're on, and the VCS is clear. So I quite like this whole system right now.
Yeah, like my thing with it is just like I feel like it makes sense that like you take the mid-tier teams care a little bit more about SEA games because, as you said, BTS isn't going to MSI. It's not happening. GARM is. I mean, look, it's been 1 week. Maybe Cerberus picks back up, but GARM should be the MSI rep. Maybe Cerberus if they get things together. But right now, looking at GARM, it's not going to be Sky. It's not going to be Luxury. It's not going to be those teams. So maybe they take C games more seriously. But the thing is that I don't think. How do you do that? Like, how do you take one of them more seriously? Because you don't have time for scrims regardless. That's why I actually think it's really going to impact the overall level of the teams. Because when do they scrim?
That's
don't have
my
time
biggest
for
fear
it.
as well. Where are the scrims gonna? When are the scrims gonna happen? I mean, it is not
When do you
LEC and
practice?
any LCS or LCS, right? It's not everyone plays every day. It's a best of 3 system, so teams that are not playing can scrim teams that are not playing on those days. But it's still a very rigid schedule, right? You probably don't have any days off. You can't practice against 4 of the 8 teams on any given day because they are playing, or you have to play. And then the schedule is really weird sometimes as well. Sky played on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they play on, I believe, Sunday again. So that's kind of, No, that's Saturday.
Yeah.
So
I just want to jump on essentially what Carrick said with the whole thing about scrimming and like how do you take one series more seriously than another, pun intended. Because I've played a lot of chess competitions in the past and my brother's played even more. So I've got to see essentially an eye into the preparation. And I think League can be quite similar because it's not just the players who are prepping, it's the analysts, it's the coaches. And I think that's where the big difference comes in. For the players, there's no difference. They get given a draft, they play the draft. Okay, maybe they're a bit more tired from having had a long schedule, but aside from that, not really. But the amount of difference that it can make prepping for a draft compared to not prepping, like if your analysts have been carefully watching the other team's plays and they come to you and say, hey, this jungler does this thing or this mid laner makes these little mistakes that you can exploit, that can all have a huge impact into how a series pans out.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the reason I'm a little bit more iffy on it is I think there's just a good chance that maybe GARM doesn't take round 2 particularly seriously, but they're still good enough to finish high just because they're really good, and then they take round 3 seriously. And they're like, okay, this is these round 3 is actually all that mattered. They take round 3 seriously and they win anyway. What I'm saying is I don't want GARM to win SEA games qualifiers, and it's nothing against GARM. It's because I want GARM to win VCS and go to MSI.
I mean, you do want them to win MSI as well.
Well, yeah, I want them to win MSI.
Obviously.
I don't want them to win the SEA games qualifiers because I want them to go to MSI.
I mean, that's a foregone conclusion.
want
If they
them to-
can go, they are going to win. We all know that.
Yeah, of course. Like that, it hasn't been COVID keeping Vietnam from international events. It's Riot. They knew it'd be boring, so they didn't let us come. But yeah, it's very frustrating as a non-Vietnamese member of the community because do not care at all about SEA games. Could not care less. Send Flash. I don't care. Send SBTC. I don't care.
Yeah,
Particularly because, as well, according to what a lot of other people are saying, because SEA doesn't include Taiwan or Hong Kong, we could send SBTC. Anyway.
they would still win. Oof.
Oh, oh dear.
Yeah, it doesn't include the PCS regions, or at least not the two dominant PCS regions.
Wow.
So it really doesn't matter who goes; they're just going to stomp their way through. I think the way Panda phrased it, and Panda's got his ear fairly well to the ground on this one, is you could send Flash, and this was talking in the off season, so this is Flash as the worst team. You could send Flash playing on 300 ping, and they wouldn't lose a game.
Oh, one thing, maybe to end on, if you guys don't have anything to add, one thing that is quite interesting with how the schedule is going to work out is that SEA Games qualifier ends on second week in March, but our VCS season is going to go on till Sunday, the 17th of April, at least for the regular season, then even longer for the playoffs. So we might actually see two very different teams go, depending on current form. Maybe Cerberus gets their shit together and actually get to be the best team at the end of the regular season, but GAM already qualified because the qualifier ended mid-March. So that's a cool screenshot, basically, of the how the teams progress. Maybe someone entirely different wins C qualifiers just because they have a great week. Maybe Sky gets everything going their way, and they qualify for C and then end up fourth in the actual league. So that's a cool little side bit there.
That would be cool. I'd be down for that. But yeah, do you guys, Marby and Milky, have anything else to think about with SEA games?
I think not much, aside from the fact that we've already talked on, the actual VCS broadcast about how close the VCS is, and you've brought it up yourself, Carrix. It's very clearly 3 tiers. Well, it's 1 tier, and then you've got 2 outliers in the form of SBTC and GARM. So I think it's quite cool, essentially, getting another tournament where we get to see these teams that are already very close playing again for a second time, and getting different results because they are that close in level.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Marby?
I don't know. I think we get to see a few things come in from the SEA games that maybe that they didn't want to try out in VCS proper. Like we saw the Diana Yasuo from GARM. It was awful. And we've seen Rek'Sai start to pop up. A couple of games out of Drakthar and Levi have both played it in the SEA games, so might see that sort of start to come in. See what they're trying out there. Maybe it comes across. I don't know.
Fun fact with the Rek'Sai, Hanke dropped that Levi had literally never used it in a scrim before. He just was like, yeah, I'm just going to pick Rek'Sai this game, Lamel. And they trusted their jungler, which, to be fair, they should. Yeah, Mama, you are a little bit quiet. If you want to, I know you've got a new mic. You might need to turn it up a little bit. You're quite quiet. But we can move on from the SEA games. We want to do a bit of a check-in with new players, and we phrase it as new players intentionally because some of them aren't going to be rookies in the real sense. Though we do have some rookies to talk about. Do we each have one person in mind to go through? Your way, this was your segment, so I will let you have first grab.
Okay, I'll give the obvious choice to Milky because I think he wants to probably mention this player because he was very excited about this player on Friday. So I'm gonna go with. Well, I'm not sure if you can call him a new player, but I'm still gonna go with Marcus, backing up what I said last week, not yesterday, about my hopes and dreams for Marcus, and I think he actually looked progressively better in the series. The first game was rough. I was looking at the first game and was like, oh, did I go too quickly on this player? Does he need more time? But then actually game 2 and game 3 in the series against SGB, he looked very solid. He got a lot of MVP points, so I'm still very hopeful for this player. I think his laning phase is great. He still needs to work on a lot of other stuff. And there are huge tests coming his way. He's going to play against Pan and Kiaya this week, so I think everyone voted for those 2 players, number 1 and 2, in one or the other configuration for the last split. So this week is really where Marcus needs to show up and show everyone I'm the new top laner on the block. I can stay. I can stand my own.
So Milky, I'm gonna let you go
Yeah.
next. I don't know who your way was actually referring to. So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about because he mentioned that I was going on
think-
about them, but
I think they got confused with Rebel, who
Yeah.
was really high on Ikigai.
yes, I think so too. So I'm gonna go with Ikigai because I think he has been my favorite rookie so far of the split, which isn't saying a lot because we've only been 1 week in, but I think he showed a good performance against, I'm going to say, a resurgent BJ, and I think that's very impressive to be able to do.
Yeah, I think he looked good. He got kind of smacked in game 1, but I don't think that had much to do with him.
He didn't get smacked, his team got smacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. But I mean, there was definitely a diffy in the jiffy. But I don't think it was because he was bad. I think it's because that was just one of the best games we've ever seen out of BJ. He was just kind of cracked. But yeah, I've been really impressed with Ikigai so far. I think if he keeps it up, Flash, maybe. I mean, I don't want Flash to succeed because your way won't shut up. But we might finally see them back. Marvy, who have you had your eyes on?
I don't know. That's kind of it.
I mean, we're not talking just actual rookies.
No, I know. That's still kind of it. Like, what do we got? We've got the rest of the big bunch of newer players are on SBTC. They've all looked pretty.
Well, I mean, that's one of the people I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about Spot. He's super disappointing. This is like maybe I do.
Are we allowed to just rip into people?
Of course. What
Okay.
do you do on this podcast?
Okay,
It's been 1 week. Obviously, everything you have to temper it with. We're basing it on 1 week, but still, Spot had a terrible week 1. This guy, everyone was saying, "Oh, if Spot wasn't banned, Levi wouldn't even be good. Spot would beat Levi up. But his dad is stronger than Levi's dad." But no, shit.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I have no strong feelings about anyone really coming in. So I might just throw him in and say, I think Fuquan did fine. I think he did absolutely 100% okay, pretty good considering his team was in absolute shambles. The team had no coordination. They were getting solo killed left and right. He did his best on that Poppy game to try and get something to happen. But the first time he tried to make a really strong active play, it was immediately denied by B. No one else could follow up. Thus, he ended up looking like a fool. But I think overall, Fuquan's absolutely fine. He's kind of almost... I wouldn't say he doesn't deserve a spot in the league. It's just unfortunate that his arrival comes with the collapse of Cerberus.
Yeah, it's true. We will be talking about Cerberus. Don't worry. That is definitely the hellhound in the room to steal your ways joke.
Wait, your way makes jokes?
It's weird, I know. Once or twice a year, you get your way making a joke. It's crazy. Have you guys had anyone else in mind? Anyone else jumped out at you? Even just players that have moved teams.
Youngblood Slater. Youngblood rookie.
He
Fresh
is
face of the
right?
league.
Yeah, he's not a rookie, but he is a new player on the team. You can definitely talk about Slater. I think he looked all right. I think he looked pretty good.
I agree, yeah. I think it was quality, really, for Flash. I didn't see any big misplays from him. It was a game where, both teams made it overextensions and died a couple of times, but with the exception of those overextensions, I think Slater played really well.
Yeah, I agree. He got a penta as well. No, that was Style, sorry. Style on Zero, they got the penta.
I find it very funny how Milky says, with the exception of the overextensions, they played well. That's kind of how you sum up Slater all the time.
It's the VCS, and that series was... I just remember casting it and thinking, this is a really good quality series, but if it wasn't just for these, 2% of the times where for some reason someone's just staying in lane too long, it's been my favorite VCS game to cast, that Flash Saigon Buffalo series.
Well, there's a reason why all of us love
very
Saigon
much
Buffalo, because they play so aggressively. So it's very fun to watch them. But yeah, I think Slater looked all right. as Marby said. I don't think he looked as good as we have seen him before. He's not in full carry mode. I think his laning phase was quite a bit better than what Flash had last year, so it's already a step up from there. His team fighting
Huge.
had its up and its downs. I think Zeri was too aggressive, but he's promising enough to be happy about Flash. Maybe not quite good enough to really say, this is a contender team, though, I'd say.
I think it's a leveled up their coordination with the addition of Slater
Definitely.
and DK guys. So,
I mean, while we were on the topic of new players, could I just throw in a kind of most improved player? Because
Sure.
we've already mentioned BJ. I just want to give a big shout out to Vit as well, because he looked hands down better than he did in winter.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I think Vit looks way, way better, kind of out of nowhere.
if we're doing most improved, I'm getting ready for the hero redemption arc. He spent two
Yep.
seasons being garbage, being bad, and chasing the Avatar, but now he's returning. He's about to redeem himself. He's got to go on the journey.
Carrick, see him, Ona, tell them.
I mean, hey, maybe Vlad comes back into that. And then it'll be good.
Look, Hero played really well into that thing, but
He was
And
fine.
this
That hero
is-
was good, yeah.
this is week one overreaction, of course. But
Of course. But the thing is, I've watched
so much better than
TH.
anything I've seen from this guy before.
I've watched TH run directly into ceiling fans for 2 years. So I'm not overreacting to him after 1 week because I've seen good games out of Hero. But
haven't.
I don't have that. Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen a single one.
He's had a couple of good games 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was
Most
the
of his
star
games
player
have
of
been
his
terrible.
team.
Most of them have been pretty bad. So I'm not overreacting to him after week 1. But hey, he definitely improved compared to the last time we saw him. There's no doubt about that.
I'll be honest, I wasn't fully sold on Team Secret, but now that Marby has thrown in an Avatar The Last Airbender reference, I'm even more on this hype train now.
It's only going to really come to fruition if he actually does do a redemption arc, and it's not just a one episode
Ah,
show
Yeah.
up.
sorry, my glasses lens fell out.
Artifact also looked a much more with his team and much better than last split, which admittedly we didn't see too much of. But
He had like
Which is
2
good.
games last split.
yeah, like
I mean, he had.
I'm checking.
he had a
I'm
fair-
checking this up.
I mean, the thing with Artifact last split is I think he played probably 4 or 5 games. I
He
think,
played. Wait, actually, that's the wrong year up.
but he
5 games.
Okay, he played 5 games. I actually don't think he looked bad in any of them. I think for whatever reason, the team just didn't work with him. There was something something weird around them that just when Artifact was in, the whole team looked worse. And I don't think it was Artifact individually that was the problem.
I want to throw in with that because it's something that really annoyed me last split when I was watching SBTC because they were playing with Hero and Enper because Artifact had his whole, I think he had COVID at the start of the split and couldn't play. And then they throw him in after Hero was playing in the mid lane. Hero gets thrown into the top lane. Hero plays terribly in the top lane. And Artifact is like trying to survive in a burning household.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he gets subbed out. And it's just like, why?
why didn't we try the Artifact Enpo duo?
Yeah.
Actually, I think they did, but
I think they did. I don't think Artifact was jiving on that team, but I don't ever think he individually was terrible. It just didn't look like it worked together. And I think he looks better on this new roster. So good, right? In the end, that's what you want. I think he looked good. I mean, Team Secret, their first series was a massive stomp. Yes, it was against SBTC. That means basically nothing. But a stomp is a stomp is a stomp. It's points on the board. That's what matters. Let's move on because we've been kind of doing a little bit of this. I want to take a bit of levity before we start talking about Cerberus. Everyone, I want your biggest overreaction after week 1. Your way?
Oh.
Or anyone jump in. What's your
Oh,
biggest overreaction from week 1?
I mean, I've been overreacting on Team Secret, and I think that is fair to say that is a big overreaction. So, yeah, I'll stick with the Team Secret are a very good team overreaction.
I want to know, when you say Team Secret is a very good team, what does that actually mean in terms of placement?
I think
Because you always
Okay.
say that I
Yeah.
disagree with you, but if your point is Team Secret,
it's because I say crazy stuff. Yeah.
If you're saying Team Secret could come 4th, I disagree with you, but it's not that egregious.
So at the start of the split, I said it'd be Gam Cerberus at the top, and I thought it would then be a massive 5-horse battle for 3rd. It might now be a 6-horse battle for 2nd. I don't think Team Secret. You know what? Actually, I'm going to say it. I think Team Secret could take 2nd if Cerberus stay as bad as they are. And the only reason I say that, and I'm going to go back to the reason what I went with before, is I don't think they are currently that good. But I think this is a team that, if they continue to improve, if they continue to gel together, I think can get to that stage. And out of all of the other teams, because they are the newest team, they technically have the most room for growth.
It's definitely an overreaction.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely an overreaction.
I formally
Fair enough.
request Clockwork's head to be sent to Milky. We need the Dum Dum head on Milky at the end of the split.
I was asked for an overreaction.
Yeah.
Marvy, what's your overreaction post week 1?
Put in Poss and Jane.
Put in Poss and Jane.
Yeah. Pun and Yardo
Jewish.
just sprinted it 2 games in a row. Give the puppies that inbuilt synergy. Give them a chance. Yeah, overreaction. Obviously,
I inherently feel my entire body tense up at the prospect of Cerberus randomly bringing in their academy team. I still have scars.
At this time though, they're not subbing out Artemis for Zeldris, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm keeping the bot side. I think they did okay. They did fine, less than what we expect out of them. But the solo lanes were sprinting it, and they've looked better in C games with their academy roster.
All right, your way.
I think my overreaction is the other side to Marby's overreaction. My overreaction after week 1 is Cerberus is not going to make playoffs. I think Cerberus is kind of doomed.
I mean,
they
Kind
look
of a lie.
we have a lot of competitive teams. SGB is better now. Sky, after an initial blunder, looked very strong on the second series. We have Luxury beating Sky, then losing to SGB. So everyone is kind of beating everyone, but everyone playing at a decent level, and that's 4 or 5 teams competing for second
You know
place.
you want to include Team Secret there.
Flash. Yeah, Team Flash. True. Yeah, you're right. Team Flash is good as well. A Team Secret, maybe. Who knows? Not so much.
All right,
But yeah, I think
going with
Cerberus is doomed. At least for this split.
I'm going an
Why we
overreaction
need
the other
Poss.
way. I'm going an overreaction the other way. Cerberus is still good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Cerberus is still good. Ego is not dead.
Hopefully.
He could still come back to the lineup.
We don't
And
know.
it's just, it's true. He could be joining Venus.
Oh god.
Honestly, how aggressive Bean J was, maybe that was actually ego the entire time for Saigon Buffalo.
There's a chance that Ego just comes back, and B, I feel like I'm just saying, they're still fine because think about what's happened. They've gone away for Lunar New. They've done a bunch of their prep at the start of the year. They've gone home for Lunar New Year. They've had a massive controversy in their team and lost their jungler. And what we know of Ego, I don't think they were sharing scrim time with him and Fook. He seems like a pretty arrogant dude. I don't think he'd take that very well. So you've got Fook coming in with no scrims. The whole team's demoralized. He very clearly has a completely different play style to Ego, so they have to adapt to it. Give him a couple weeks. Gosh, guys. Gosh.
I am going to call you out on the copium, though.
That's not an overreaction.
I'm
Yeah.
That's an underreaction.
Based opinion.
That's a measured response.
Okay, but
Yeah.
guys, but what is gonna happen if Ego comes
Thanks,
back to the
Marvin.
team house with no scrim time, probably no solo queue, I don't know, in the last 10 days or something, and Ronopi, and actually probably the whole rest of the team hates him. What do you do?
It's gonna look like
The
spring.
team
it's gonna look like
atmosphere
spring
is
playoffs.
garbage, isn't it? Like everyone resents Ego for walking away. People have actually come out and said they don't actually like this player as a person. Their Fook one is not working out in terms of play or level of play. The rest of the team is demoralized, is probably underperforming, and then Ego comes back. That's not going to help. I think this team is in real deep shit.
To follow up on that, I 100% agree with your way, because if Ego does come back, if I was a team, I wouldn't let him play. Like, why would I let the player who just up and walked out in the middle of a split or at the start of a split come back? It
Because
sets
you
such
wanna
a bad
win.
precedent.
Because you
No,
want
but
to
it's
win.
such. I think it is just a
I think you're
terrible
looking.
precedent.
I think
because
you're looking. I think if I was Cerberus management, this is how I'd do it. I'd let him come back for this split because you don't have a better option. End of the split, get fucked.
When it depends when he
End of
comes
the
back.
split.
Yeah.
End of the split. You give if he comes back this week. You let him play this split out, and then at the end of the split, he gets the fucking heave ho.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way
no
that Ego
chance you give him another
in
split.
summer should be on that team.
He shouldn't be on any team.
And
I'm going to
that's-
be totally honest.
that's really
After
bad.
this performance, he shouldn't be on any team.
But he's a
But
really
I
good
think you let
player.
him play for he is. It sucks.
If he comes back this week, I can see them letting him play. If he comes back like week 5 or like halfway
No,
through, it's like,
that's too late.
no, you fucked up, mate.
Also, the thing is,
Fuck off.
there is also the mid-split transfer period. There's that there's like a 2-week period halfway through the split where you're allowed to make team changes.
If I were Saigon Buffalo, I would go to to Ego and say, "We pay you whatever you want, comparatively."
Would you, though?
Yes,
B&J's been looking like a man
Wait,
repossessed.
over
Honestly,
VJ?
BJ looked
because
okay, but he's not Ego.
My
Ego
problem
came
with
in and
that
won his
is-
first split ever. He came back and won the next split. Ego is a winner. He's a 2-time champion. You need Ego anywhere. Any
thing
team
is-
can use Ego, apart
The
from
thing
luxury,
is,
maybe.
though, I don't think Saigon Buffalo can use him because
Or Gum.
think about what. Well, yeah, true. Garment's just not really an upgrade. I don't think Saigon wants him because not because he's not better than BJ. He is better than BJ. Because he's just sick. But can you imagine the scenes? They'd be on stage and he plays with Froggy. He'd kill him. Froggy would just he would press tab and go, "Why is my mid laner down 25 CS?" and then just kill it. There'd be a murder on the stage.
I actually would really like to see that duo because they're both very aggressive, and you have Froggy just backing up Ego. Ego goes for some Ego picks, and Froggy just plays Galio or TF or whatever roaming champion. Doesn't CS? Who cares? And Ego's 200 CS ahead. That's a win condition there.
The thing is though, it's like the Ego's actual best champions aren't the Ego champions.
That's
With
true.
the exception of Lee Sin. With the exception of like the Lee Sin, but okay, every Vietnamese jungler is sick on Lee Sin. It's stuff like Java.
Yeah, that's right.
Like he in the actual finals, like when it was the pointy end of the season, he just brought the Jarvan out and just enabled Yado and it just enabled Artemis. And the thing is, I think again, like we're making a lot of assumptions, but we're here for fun. It's just a podcast. I think with a player with a mentality like Ego, he will only do that for a player he respects enough to do it in terms of their level of play. Like Yado, last split, was the best mid laner in the league. Artemis is eternally the best AD carry in the league. So I think you can tell someone who's a bit immature, a bit arrogant, like, shut up, play to enable these players. They're better than you. But with someone like Froggy, like, he's not going to play Jarvan for Froggy.
Yeah.
Like, he's just going to go, what, you want me to play to enable this dude? Yeah, get fucked. I'm picking Kha'Zix.
I remember an interview with Dardoch when he was on Echo Fox with Hooney, and it's basically like, yeah, I didn't have a lot of respect for a lot of teams, but with Hooney, it's like he just finished playing with Faker. What am I gonna say? So that sort of thing. And we saw that with Huni. He didn't play tanks at all. Went to T1. He's like, I'm listening to fucking Coma, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, having that respect is very good for a egotistic little prick.
The name
yeah,
suits him.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I mean-
oh yes.
I almost want to see.
Find the Wild Rift team Y1 is on and get him back. I miss it.
I almost want to say I want to have a scenario where you have Ego on a team, you get Yoshino in the top lane, and then you get Parky mid lane,
Oh,
and
no.
then we just get to see Ego and Yoshino just losing their mental over their mid laner. It would be the greatest thing.
And Milky, I
ever.
hear there's a job opening at Guantanamo Bay for someone with your skill set. I think they need more torturers. My God.
What about
do
Sky though? Sky Ego? That's actually even better. You have Glory, who's a great mid laner. Ego Glory together, super strong mid 2v2. We have
that'd be a
another
really
Artemis clone, and Armina. Not quite Artemis, but kind of similar.
Damn good, yeah.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, but Ryu could get choked out on stage.
I mean,
Fair. If Ego went over to BTS, that would arguably be the best, like mid jungle top in the league.
Outside.
I don't know if it quite beats Garm.
Oh, it does
The
definitely.
team fighting could be
Well,
better
I
than
think-
Gums though.
I actually think. Actually, you know what? I didn't give an overreaction because you all got angry at me
No,
and
you
said that it
didn't.
was an underreaction. So we'll
What's
go back
the
to Everest. Okay, my overreaction is at the end of this split, Glory will be clearly the best mid laner in the league.
Let's go.
There we go.
He will clearly be it. So I feel like the reason I go back to that is because I think there's a bit too much of a gap in the top lane because I think Kiaya is ridiculous and I don't think Ego's pretty like level with Levi. Sometimes he's better, sometimes Levi's better. It's pretty back and forth with those two. And then I think Glory kind of shits on Cardi.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the actual stats of those matchups, I would probably guess that it's actually Cardi favored, but Cardi has Levi. There's a jungle gap there. A bit of mid gap is jungle gap, I think. But yeah, I think Sky has a good chance of making a really deep run. I actually think they could come second this split.
There's a lot of teams that can come second, to be fair.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I was very impressed with Luxury in their
I
first
almost
series
think
as
Sky's
well.
my
But
favorite.
then the second series didn't look so great, so I don't know. Luxury is always a mystery to me. They could be great, they could be bad. They are very striky, but they have a very good jungler. I think Killer Queen is an early contender for MVP. He was so insane this week.
Yeah, he was. It's true. But Killer Queen is just so streaky, just in general. He's a super
Actually,
streaky
don't
player.
think he's that streaky. I think his performance has been consistently pretty good, right? His
Yeah.
floor
Yeah,
is very
definitely.
high. He can streak
Yeah.
up to even higher ceilings, but I think even if he has a relatively bad game, he's still a very good jungler. Compared to Drakthar, who's invisible when he has a bad game. So
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Killer Queen's much better than Drakthar. Rebel's not here, we're allowed to say it.
Rebels sleep.
Genuinely, in that
Drakthar has two
series,
champs.
in that series between Saigon Buffalo and Luxury, even though Luxury lost, I still think Killer Queen was the best
Oh,
player in
for
that
sure.
series.
Yeah, he was insane.
Like his Lee Sin was in. It was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it was super nuts. Just stop giving him Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Like, he's already played 4 games of Lee Sin this split. That's already too many. You just got to ban the Lee Sin. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
And I mean, Hecarim's coming back, so that'll be interesting.
That's good for BJ. BJ likes his fast boy meta. He's a big fan.
Drakthar.
Hood is still in the dirt, but
Good. Keep him back.
Hecarim's
Don't
back.
bring up
Hecarim's
Udyr.
back.
When are we putting Tryndamere back down? Please.
Apparently, in the VCS, he's already
Oh
down.
yeah, he's not great. He's
Because
not
they
doing
keep
well.
I don't want to
blinding.
see it. I don't want to look at him.
The thing is, here in VCS, is they keep blinding him, and thus he keeps getting counterpicked by the other most cancerous top laner in the game, Camille.
I mean, I've started seeing that Hullbreaker Tryndamere.
Hullbreaker, everything. Everything in the top lane, Hullbreaker.
I've seen
funny.
pictures of Hullbreaker Akshan.
Yeah.
So I was watching Hysterics, the LPL caster, stream today, and he was duoing with Rusty, the OPL LCO caster. Rusty, being a bit higher rank than Hysterics, so not having to take the game as seriously, brought out such gems as Akshan Hullbreaker, Vayne Hullbreaker,
Yasuo
Hullbreaker, and also told the story about off stream he played Hullbreaker LeBlanc and won. So Hullbreaker is a good item.
Yeah.
It's a very good item. I mean, I like Hullbreaker. Give me some Yoriks.
Yes.
I can see some of the top
please.
laners.
Yes,
picking up
please.
Yorick.
You have to bring in Quincy now.
I think if Yorick gets picked, it doesn't actually matter who is scheduled to cast. Quincy gets to cast.
Yeah.
We just bring him in. We just go, yeah, wake up. Doesn't matter. Get on.
Like, do you remember that bet that the LEC did where Nocturne once got picked and Vedius just ran from one side of the LEC onto the broadcast?
That was funny.
Just a flame.
That was funny as well because it just ended up being just a very meta thing. Like Nocturne was just in meta for a while.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even just like this one-time crazy pick. But it was a good bit. It was a great bit. I like having champions like that. It's always fun. Anyway, do we have any more like closing comments on Cerberus? Because it's very doom and gloom.
Do you think... I'm just going to pose a question or ask a question. Do you think the reason why Cerberus is playing their academy team in C games is because the team needs to, I don't know, try more, to chill, to not play as much, to not like wear each other out? Do you think that's the reason, or do they just not take C seriously?
I think it's a little bit. I think it's that. I think the team is probably pretty stressed out and has had like some impact on their mental with what's happened with Ego. It just would. I think it's not controversial to say that would cause some stress. And then when you go, if you're like the coaches and you're sitting there going, look, SEA games don't really matter and our players are doing their nuts in, let's give them a few days off. Don't make them do 7 days a week. That's just bloody brutal on them. So, you know, I think it's the fact that SEA games doesn't matter as much enables them to, you know, chill out a bit.
When was...
Personally, I think we're going a bit too harsh on Cerberus. Like, as my closing comment, I still think they're a really good team. I think they've got some really good players. And even if Ego isn't on the team, I still think they'll make playoffs, personally.
Yeah, I agree. That was my, you know, unacceptable overreaction in response to the rest of you. I think they're still fine.
Yeah.
They're probably not second best team anymore if they don't have ego and if they don't really buck up their ideals, but I think they're okay. Moving on from that, though, unless, Marby, do you have any last words?
Only that I think with how shortly the first round started after TET, I think that it was a kind of already planned to put in the academy team for SEA Games. After all, I mean, they had to replace POS, because they can't have a Korean playing, obviously. So they picked up Rika out of the blue, and so I think that had some level of forethought, because if you just last minuted in a team, you'd probably be like, "Hey, pun buddy, we kind of need you."
Yeah, maybe.
We don't have a replacement.
To answer chat, we're doing round 3 of SEA Games, I think.
Maybe.
We're not going to do round 2, but we will probably do round 3, but no promises. All right, to close things out, let's do a 90-50-10 of what we think could happen. So something you think will have a 90% chance to happen, something that's a 50% chance, and something that's a 10% chance. I'm going to go ahead and ban 90% Garm wins the split.
Yeah.
No one's allowed
Not
to
a
say
90.
that.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a 90, that's a 100.
100.
So, yeah.
But I know one of you would have used it, because I would have.
See,
So I'm banning.
my initial plan was to say my 90 is not that Garm win the split, it's that Garm win the split and don't go to MSI.
Ugh.
do that.
Please don't bring it up, Milky.
manifest
Don't
that.
talk
Don't
it into
manifest
existence.
I'm caster cursing it.
I hate you. Go away.
Don't do that. That's
Okay.
evil.
Okay, at 90. And can we also ban SBTC not to finish last? As, like...
I will... Okay. I mean, I think if someone wants to stake that they think SBT... Like, if that 90% they don't finish last, I'm okay with that.
I'm going to go with 100% SBTC finishing last.
I mean, I agree. What are your 90s, Marby, your way?
90% Saigon Buffalo makes playoffs.
90% versus the Sky is second.
Oh.
90%? I have a 90%. 90%. Levi wins first team jungle, but is not the best jungler in the league.
I mean, well, you kind of lost his competition.
I think Killer Queen
Killer Queen.
has a chance. I don't think Luxury will be the best team, but I think there's a really strong chance that on an individual level, Killer Queen could be the strongest jungler. But Levi will still get first team jungle because it's a fan vote, and yeah,
Levi's cool.
control that. He's still Levi. Your way? Did you give a 90?
Yeah.
Buffalo playoffs.
Oh, sorry. 50s then. What's your coin flips? My coin flip is Garm doesn't win the split.
What?
Yeah, I think there's a 50% chance of that happening.
This belongs in the overreaction section, by the way.
No, because there's a difference between winning the split and coming first. They will come first. But I think, considering their records, recently
don't win regular
finals, I think there's a chance that I reckon it's a coin flip that when we get to the game 5 of a final, that they never win.
There's not going to be a game 5 of a final.
I'm saying there's a 50% chance we get there.
Okay.
Okay.
See, now I almost want to say that my 50-50 is that Garm win finals 3-0, but I'm not going to do that.
It's not a bad prediction.
Also, part of the reason that I'm also saying it is because I think Garm's going to win the SEA Games qualifier, and then they might do us a favor and not take the rest of the split too seriously. Please.
Okay, so my
The other
50
happens.
is... I don't know if I want to do this for Flash or Secret. I'm going to do it for Flash. Flash make playoffs.
Yes.
Hey!
Very good 50. Very good 50.
If you wanted to use that one your way, I'll change mine to Team Secret.
No.
make playoffs.
I have a player-related one.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, the one that's obvious is kind of boring, so maybe I'm not going to do that.
Nah, you can have a boring one if you want.
I mean, the boring one is 50% Killer Queen is the best jungler.
Okay. What's the fun
50% ego comes back.
The fun one
50%
is 50% Aomina is the best ADC.
Ooh.
Strong. I kind of agree. 50%? Yeah, all right. Now, the 10%, the moonshots.
Wait, has Marvy given 50?
Oh, Marvin, sorry.
Mine wasn't. I wasn't serious with the ego comes back. So 50%.
Oh, okay.
All right, Marvy, what's your 50%?
That's 50%.
Sorry.
Cerberus bombs out and is bottom 2. Faces
Bottom
relegation.
2. Oh, God, what a fall from grace. At that point, I think if that happens, we have to start investigating GARM because they might have a warlock behind the scenes where it's like, if anyone else's name goes on the shield, they fall to shit.
Yeah, it's called ego.
It's happened it's ego.
It's actually ego.
Ego both times.
After game 5, Hankei actually looked across the stage to Ego and just went 6, 9, 4, 3, 2, and awoke his programming.
I think it's Ego's personal vendetta against GAM to win on every team but GAM once. just go to every single team in the region, always with one split pause, and then win a split against GAM in the final.
All right, 10%. Milky, what's your 10?
Okay, I'm gonna do one for this weekend and then one for the split.
Oh, I like it.
All right.
So my 10% for this weekend. I was tempted to say Ego comes back, but I'm not. My 10% is that GAM lose one of their series this weekend, and they're playing against Team Secret and Team Flash this weekend. I won't say which one I'm expecting.
No, don't. Just stop talking.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I think there's a 10% chance they drop one of those series.
10%. Not even unreasonable.
My 10% for the split. Okay, as a president of the Luxury Fan Club, this might come as a surprise to you.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, it doesn't come as a surprise. I'm going to flip the other way. 10% Luxury don't make playoffs.
Okay, wow. Not what I expected out of you, but regardless, fair enough. 10%. I kind of think that's fair. Marmy, do you have a 10%?
Pretty low.
I had one, but I just forgot what I was going to say.
Or your way?
Yeah, so mine is strategy related. 10% we're gonna see Smite top Enchanter. And I think the only teams that are really going to ever look at this are Saigon Buffalo and potentially GAM because of Hankei.
I mean,
but
I think didn't Kiaya played Soraka top, remember?
Yeah. So I think it's either GAM or Saigon Buffalo who could potentially do it.
Okay, fair enough. I hope we don't. I hate it.
Here's the trick.
The games are amazing to watch. They are so fun. I want to cast one of those.
Here's the trick with Buffalo, though. Froggy and Hasmed will swap lanes, and Froggy will play the Enchanter.
Yes, please.
That is smart.
Yes, please.
I agree. They'll send. I think if they do it, I actually
will play like a Kali mid or something.
In one of their games last week, they early locked a Karma, and I immediately was like, "Froggy's going to play that smite."
That was
Flash played a Karma in C games, a Karma top lane for Yoshino. They swapped Yoshino into the top lane. But he didn't play Smite. He just played farming Karma.
No, they did play a Karma.
There
was a Karma support. There was a Karma support. It was locked early before.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying there was a Karma top lane already in C games for Flash.
Oh, right.
But Yoshino played tank Karma, so no Smite.
Yeah. Yoshino, come on, do better.
10%.
Your 10?
10% Yoshino spends the entire split as a Rise one trick. He learn another champion, please. Hurry up.
Rise is all you need. It's the greatest.
Yeah, it's a Steel Shadow.
It's working, isn't it?
As long as he doesn't run out of ammunition. No, that's a really old joke. That's a real. I don't even think Milky knows that. I don't think Milky even knows the origin of that joke. There was a documentary on about EVOS a few years ago.
Like 2017?
2017 or something. And it was clearly made by people that didn't really understand League. So Stark locked in Rise in a game, and they said Stark has got his best champion, Steel Shadow, which is Camille, not Rise. And then later in the... No, Steel Shadow is... isn't it? I don't know. Maybe it's Zed. And then later on in the game, he ran out of mana, and they said he ran out of ammunition, which was quite funny. Because that's not what
no, it is Camille. My bad.
My 10%? 10%? Cerberus win the split. Because it just like let's get it. Let's
Is
I
start
can
this
see
way.
it.
After playoffs or
There
before
is-
playoffs?
As in, they win the final.
Okay.
I mean, I think Garm is locked to come first on the ladder. I think then the reason I think there's a 10% chance because I think there's a 10% chance Ego comes back in the next week or two and they just go back to playing like last split. And Cerberus of last split can win the split. They did. I think there's a 10% chance of that.
Yeah, I don't think that's too unreasonable. 10% is not very high. It's
Exactly.
yeah. I can see
Yeah.
that.
90% Sky win the split. Let's go.
No.
Do you mean SBTC?
No, they're not. They're going to be in VCSB next split.
10% another SBTC
Actually, can I
member
say
goes
that?
to
Actually,
jail.
can I change my 10%? My
Remember
10% is SBTC come last and lose relegations. That's my 10%.
SBTC
Remember back
sends
when
another member to jail.
SBTC were trying to make a super team?
Remember when one of their players went to jail?
And two of the others were banned.
They had 15
And the
years
third-
of bans.
And a third should have been banned.
No, but according to Vietnamese fans, or SPTC fans at least, they should make playoffs. Right? Right?
They should
What?
win the split. No, I mean, SBTC fans are
Hang
insane.
on. I just need to do this. Enper, Spot, Tutti, Palette who ints under tower to try to stop away from crash, or ints into a minion wave to stop away from crashing, and then poor old Celebrity in the middle of that burning storm.
Easy.
Yes,
Easy top there.
actually, yeah,
Easy top
that's my
there.
90. That's my 90. SBTC make playoff.
Yeah, easy. No worries.
Imagine
Oh,
going
my
back to bloody 2018 and saying Celebrity Polite is the worst bot lane in the league.
Even worse, because then people would go, damn, what happened to Celebrity? Oh, no.
No.
Celebrity's fine. All right. I think we're fully done. We didn't get much of a chance to talk about the upcoming week, but that's okay because there'll be plenty of breakdowns and stuff coming out in the next day or so. And of course, we are live tomorrow. The week is nearly upon us. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Good Morning Vietnam. We hope your morning is lovely, your evening, your night, wherever you are. We hope it's going well. My name has been Carys. With me has been Marby, Milky, and Yulway. With that, we bid you adieu.